Your cat is not watching birds through the window. You think they are, it looks like they are. They're sitting perfectly still, eyes locked, tail low, every muscle in their body suspended between motion and restraint. And then it happens. That sound. That strange, rapid, stuttering chatter that seems to come from somewhere deep and involuntary, like something ancient firing inside them that has no modern translation. And you smile, you take a video, you think, my cat is so weird. But what's actually happening inside your cat's brain in that moment is one of the most neurologically complex, scientifically debated, and genuinely extraordinary events that occurs in your home on a daily basis, and almost nobody talks about it properly. By the end of this video, you will never watch your cat at the window the same way again. And there's one detail held for last that researchers discovered about what the chattering sound actually is that stopped an entire field of animal behaviorists in their tracks when it was first documented. It changes everything about what you think your cat is feeling in that moment. Stay with me. 1. What their eyes are actually doing. Let's start with what you can see, because even the visible part of this is more remarkable than most people realize. When your cat locks onto a bird through the window, their visual system shifts into a mode that has no equivalent in human experience. Cats have a higher concentration of rod photoreceptors than humans, built for detecting motion with a sensitivity that borders on the impossible. They can detect movement at a level of 0.1 millimeters per second. They can track a bird's wing beat not as a blur, but as a discrete sequence of positions. But here's what most people don't know about cat vision in that moment. Their eyes are not simply recording what they see, they are predictively modeling it. Research in feline visual neuroscience has found that cats engaged in predatory focus activate a predictive tracking system in their visual cortex, essentially running a simulation of where the prey is going before it gets there. Your cat is not watching the bird. Your cat is watching where the bird will be. They are living approximately 200 milliseconds ahead of what their eyes are showing them, calculating trajectory, velocity, and interception point in real time. This is a brain doing something your brain cannot do. And it's doing it automatically, involuntarily, every single time a bird crosses that window. The stillness you're watching is not calm. It is a nervous system under full load, running calculations at a speed and precision that would take a supercomputer to replicate. Your cat looks peaceful. Your cat is anything but. 2. What's happening in their body. Watch more carefully next time, because the stillness is not total. The tip of the tail, almost imperceptible. A slow, rhythmic twitch that your cat is not consciously controlling. The pupils fully dilated even in daylight, drinking in every photon of information. The ears rotated forward to their maximum angle, funneling sound frequencies you cannot hear toward an auditory system processing them in real time. The whiskers fanned forward beyond their resting position, as if reaching toward something across the glass. And the breathing slow, controlled, deliberate in a way that ordinary breathing is not. This is a body in what researchers call the predatory arousal state, a full physiological mobilization that involves the sympathetic nervous system, the adrenal system, and the motor cortex simultaneously. Adrenaline is present, cortisol is rising. The muscles along their spine and hindquarters are preloading tension that, in a different context, would release as a sprint. Your cat is not relaxed. Your cat is a coiled system on the edge of action that the window is preventing. And here is the part that matters. This state, this full neurological and physiological mobilization has a cost. It requires resolution. In nature, it would resolve as movement, as the chase, as the catch, as the completion of a sequence the brain started and the body finished. But the window stops all of that. The sequence starts. The sequence cannot complete, and your cat sits in that suspended state, prey fully visible, every system saying go, the glass saying no. What that costs them is something we'll come back to, because it matters more than most owners realize. 3. The chattering, the real explanation. Now we get to the sound. That rapid staccato chattering your cat makes at the window, teeth clicking, jaw trembling, sometimes accompanied by a strange chirping that sounds like it belongs to a different animal entirely, has fascinated researchers for decades. And for most of that time, the dominant explanation was simple. It's frustration. Your cat wants the bird and can't have it, and the chattering is the sound of that frustration expressing itself. That explanation is not wrong. But in 2010, researchers from the Wildlife Conservation Society studying wild-pied tamarin monkeys in the Amazon documented something that changed the conversation entirely. They recorded a wildcat, a margay, producing vocalizations that precisely mimicked the calls of the tamarin's prey. The wildcat was using acoustic mimicry as a hunting strategy, reproducing the sounds of what the tamarin hunted to draw the tamarin closer. And when researchers analyzed the sound, it matched a specific call, the call a predator makes at the moment of the kill bite, a rapid, repetitive chattering directed at the neck of prey to sever the spinal cord quickly and cleanly. That sound, the one your cat makes at the window, is not just frustration. It is the kill bite, rehearsed, involuntary, fired by a hunting sequence that has reached the point of completion in your cat's brain even though the body never got to act. Your cat is not frustrated they can't catch the bird. Your cat's brain has already caught the bird. It has already run the entire sequence to its conclusion, the stalk, the sprint, the pounce, the catch, the kill. And the chattering is the motor pattern of that final moment, playing out in the jaw and the throat because the body has nowhere else to put it. The sound that makes you smile and reach for your phone is your cat's nervous system completing, in pantomime, one of the most primal acts in their entire behavioral repertoire. Sit with that for a moment. 4. What the window is doing to them. Here is the part most cat owners never consider, and it's the part that should change something about how you set up your cat's world. The window experience, the bird visible, the hunting sequence activated, the glass preventing completion, is not neutral for your cat. It is not enrichment in the way we usually mean that word. It is stimulation without resolution, and that distinction matters enormously to a nervous system built the way a cat's is built. Research in feline behavioral science has consistently found that cats who have high visual exposure to prey animals they cannot access show elevated baseline stress markers, higher resting cortisol, more frequent redirected aggression, disrupted sleep architecture, and in some cases, compulsive behaviors like overgrooming or excessive vocalization. Think of it this way. Imagine someone placed a meal in front of you every morning, something you were deeply hungry for, and then covered it with glass just before you could eat it. Every day, for years, you would habituate somewhat. You would also be running a low-level stress response that never fully resolved because the hunger was real and the satisfaction never came. Your cat at the window is experiencing a version of this, and the more birds that pass, the more hunting sequences fire and fail to complete, the more that unresolved arousal accumulates into something their body carries without release. The window is not bad. Cats absolutely benefit from visual stimulation and environmental richness, but the window alone is not enough. It needs a counterpart, something that allows the sequence that starts at the glass to complete somewhere else. 5. What they need after the window. This is where most owners miss the single most important step in their cat's daily well-being, and it's not complicated. It just requires understanding what the window actually does. Every time your cat watches birds and chatters and sits in that suspended predatory state, their nervous system has loaded a program. Stalk, chase, pounce, catch, kill, and that program needs to run to completion, not metaphorically, neurologically. The brain that started the hunting sequence needs to finish it through play, through movement, through the physical act of catching something, or the arousal has nowhere to go. Research from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery found that cats given structured interactive play sessions after periods of window bird watching showed significantly lower cortisol levels and reduced redirected aggression compared to cats who had window access with no play follow-through. The play wasn't just fun, it was completing the circuit the window had opened. What this means practically is simple. After your cat has been at the window, after the chattering, after the watching, after all of that extraordinary neurological work, bring out a wand toy, a feather, something that moves unpredictably, something that mimics the flight pattern of what they were just watching. Let them stalk it, let them chase it, let them catch it. And then this is the part almost every owner skips: let them catch it completely. Let them hold it. Let them perform the kill bite on the toy with that same chattering jaw you watched at the window. Don't pull it away. Don't immediately toss it again. Let the sequence finish. Then give them food, because in the wild the sequence ends with eating. And a cat whose hunting sequence completes stalk, chase, catch, kill, eat is a cat whose nervous system exhales, whose cortisol drops, whose body finally gets to come down from the state the window put it in. 10 minutes, that's all it takes. 10 minutes of real interactive play after window time, ending with a meal or a treat. And the cat who was coiled and chattering at the glass becomes something different, something settled, something that has been fully itself in the way nature designed, not stopped by glass, not suspended in a sequence that never ends but complete. 6. What they're really telling you. Step back from everything, the neuroscience, the motor patterns, the cortisol levels, and watch your cat at the window one more time. Watch the complete stillness that contains so much motion inside it. Watch the eyes that are seeing a world several steps ahead of the present moment. Watch the jaw that is already performing the ending of a story that hasn't happened yet. Watch the animal who is, in that moment, exactly and entirely what they are: not a pet, not a companion, not a creature that was domesticated into something smaller than its nature, but a predator, ancient and precise and complete. Your cat lives with you. They sleep on your bed, eat from a bowl, chirp at your voice, and curl into the curve of your knees at night. And then a bird crosses the window, and for a moment, just for that suspended, extraordinary moment, every layer of domestication goes transparent. And what you see through the glass is something that has been hunting on this earth for millions of years. That chattering sound, that is not frustration. That is mastery interrupted. That is a creature whose skills are so refined, so neurologically deep, that they run automatically even when there is nothing left to run toward, even when the glass says no, even when the bird is gone and the window is just a window again. That sound is your cat being, in the most complete sense, exactly what they were made to be. And the least we can do, the very least, is understand what we're watching when they do it. After the window today, get the wand toy out. Let them finish what the birds started. Watch what happens to their body when the sequence finally completes. And then come back and tell me in the comments, does your cat chatter? What's the sound like? How long do they sit there? Because every description is different and every one of them is remarkable. Share this with someone who has a window cat, someone who takes the videos and laughs at the sound and has no idea what they're actually watching. Because now you do. And next week, why your cat brings you dead animals. The real reason, the ancient reason, the one that once you hear it makes the whole thing feel less gross and more like something that should have moved you all along.